And we start with breaking news. Just about an hour ago, the State Department of Health Services issuing a notice of intent to revoke Hacienda HealthCare's state license.
This move comes after we uncovered another disturbing incident involving a patient at this facility. Earlier today, we told you maggots were found around a surgical opening on a patient's neck. Hacienda HealthCare first came under fire in January after we discovered a paralyzed patient there gave birth in December without the staff ever knowing she was pregnant. One of that patient's nurses was later arrested for her rape.
Oh, Brianna Whitney has been on this story since the very beginning. And Brianna, what does the intent to revoke their license really mean?
Right, so that means that's what they're planning to do. It does not mean Hacienda has to shut down immediately. It basically just gives the state more oversight of the facility and they can hold them more accountable from here on out. Now, we first broke earlier today, a man who was receiving care was found with maggots around a surgical opening on his neck. And tonight, an inside source tells me this is not the first time this facility has dealt with maggots.
It's shocking when you hear it.
She still has her Hacienda HealthCare jacket, but is no longer an employee. But our source says when she heard about maggots found at the surgical opening of a 28-year-old patient's throat, it jogged her memory to many years ago.
We had a patient that had a wound on her leg.
She says maggots got in that patient's wound, the only other time she recalls this happening. But she says with that incident, they realized how fast maggots could hatch from eggs.
If I can land maggots hatch between dressings, those individuals would have a care every 12 hours, every shift.
And how fast they can hatch may explain why the patient now had to go to the hospital twice. Hacienda says the maggots were found Wednesday under his gauze bandage near the surgical opening for his trach tube. He was taken to the hospital for care, but when back at Hacienda on Thursday, the facility tells me they found more maggots and he was sent back to the hospital. Our source says she's not surprised they were found in that area on his body.
Constant movement in that area, cleaning secretions, changing the dressing, changing the tubing. There's always something there that could cause it to bleed a little.
Hacienda says the patient has lived in the ICF unit, the same unit where a woman in an incapacitated state lived when she was reportedly raped by a staff nurse, then gave birth in December. Our source says this patient's medical case is also severe.
He's extremely limited. He's totally dependent on care.
Would you call it similar to the patient that was raped and gave birth?
Yes.
Now, Hacienda has taken many steps in the past 48 hours. State agencies and medical staff have come and checked on all of their patients with surgical incisions, and none have been found with maggots. They've also had an exterminator come out twice and now have a contractor working to put blower fans on all exterior doors to keep out insects like flies, which could have caused the situation. Heather, Jared?